Hi guys, it's Crystal. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you guys how to create a sign using Couture. So the sign is actually going to be for a booth that I have in town. So I've talked about it a few times and we named the booth A Beautiful Soul. I'll talk about that here pretty quickly, how I came up with the name, but it just came from a stamp. When you have a booth, you want to name it. So it's just easier when they say, hey, do you know our booth such and such is? So ours is A Beautiful Soul. So what I want to do is take the script, the brush script font. I cut mine down the other day. I haven't used it yet, but I cut it down and I put it in a Ziploc baggie. I use my labeler, so just in case, so this may be a tip for you guys. I used a big Ziploc baggie and my labeler, I put brush script so I knew what it was. And then on the inside here, I put the lowercase and then like the little symbols in one. This didn't fit, so I just put it in there, and then the capital. So that way, they were, when I'm ready for them, they're in separate little bags. I'll find out something better, but for now, this works for me. Just in case you guys are curious which one I'm using, this is the one. I did a haul on it about a year ago. I'm loving it. It's the Tepra Light. So these are sold at Michael's, and I believe you can get them on Amazon and stuff too. But Michael's right now, I believe, is clearancing them out. I went and got their labelers, the rolls of label stuff the other day for like $2 and something at our local Michael's. Today's plan is I'm using the truck and the camper. So I want to combine the two. And like I said, this is going to be the big sign that's down on my booth. So it's going to have this. And then I'm going to take the brush font here in just a second, and I'm going to put A Beautiful Soul. Now, I did purchase the washi tape that was like a ruler from Couture for this. And I can't find it. I only bought one so far, and I've lost it. I've not used it yet. It's somewhere around this house, which is just great. So I'm going to use this little handy dandy clover ruler here that we got up there at Creativation, and I'm just going to kind of try to measure across here and maybe tape this down to keep a straight line. So that's just what I'm going to have to do today. Thinking, since this is going to be at our booth, for the seasons, I can come in and change it. So I could come in, I'm going to add like the Easter eggs or whatever. For Valentine's, I could do the hearts. And all I got to do is take off whatever's in the back of the truck and replace that. And then if I decide later I want to replace the color of my truck, I could do that, or the camper, vice versa. The curtains, I want to change out the colors. It'll be fun to be able to have this down there and people see it change here and there. And like I said, we're going to take that brush font and then be able to create our own words. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to take a little bit of stick here. It's just a little piece of scrap there. I'm going to get that to hold that in place, okay? So now what I'm going to do is work on the truck. So what we need to do first is take our fuzzing cloth, which you could use a towel or whatever, but I went ahead and purchased that right away. And I will say I'm loving it. All right, so I'm going to get this off of here, and now when I'm done with this truck, I'm going to put it on one of my transfer backers so I don't have to carefully line it back up. All right, so I can set this down, and then I can kind of look really quick and make sure that still looks good. And then what I'm going to do is just make sure there's no air bubbles. I'm not going to push down everything really hard. I'm going to make sure there's no air bubbles. By the way, this chalkboard is from Hobby Lobby. It's one that's like in the decor, and it's just the door. If you remember in my video behind me, I had vinyl all over this where it had my Instagram, Facebook handles. It said, "Bless this farmhouse." That's what this is, and I just took that all off because I'm doing something different. But it's got these little hinges on it and stuff. Super cute. So Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to just making sure there's no bubbles in this. So working it one way to the next. So now that we've got that down, I'm going to put down our color. So what I think I'm going to do for this part of the truck and the same with the camper, I'm going to make a match. I'm going to do the coral. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get down guava first. I'm going to go ahead and do the big piece and then the white last. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some of this down on here. I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plaid for the truck, and then I'm going to take the plaid for the camper. Do that in Couture too. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our brush script font. So I'm going to show you how you can utilize your font. So I have, I think there's several different that you can choose from on there, but this is their brush script. I'm going to use the A capital, the B capital, and the S capital, and then the rest are lowercase. What I did was just lay them out. So I just say I put my A here, I put my B, and then I put my S. And then I started laying these out. Well, obviously there is a U and an L that's going to go over here and another U here. So I had to kind of figure those out. But I overlapped them because if you can see here, when we go to do this, there's actually these marks that we're going to use chalk and we're going to erase them later. To overlap these to create this so they'll work together, if that makes sense. So you'll line them up each time. So I overlapped them as I laid them here so that way I could see about where they're going to go. So I have figured out about where I need my letters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave everything in place. I'm going to get my A down, and then I'll get my B down, start working with the beautiful, and then I'll get my soul down because obviously I'll know that's going to go. So I've got it lined up about where I want it on this truck. And with mine, I'm going to have mine go all the way up to the top like that. So I'm just going to have mine butt up against this, and that's going to how I'm going to know about where they need to go. Okay, so those I'm going to do in white. I also wanted to mention that in between layers, I will have to dry it because we are going to be overlapping. So I did want to mention that. Also, I'm not concerned about the backs of these because I'm going to stick mine on the backer sheets that I purchased. So if you are going to be putting yours back on here, which most of you probably will, make sure you have written what letter this is first, like capital A, etc. Okay? I'm in love with it. Super cute. So the font is amazing. It's super easy to use. If you notice, I stopped using these little helpful guides a long time ago. You can kind of see through the stencil. You could actually see through it pretty good to see where it's lining up, and it actually works better. You get a lot more smoother. I think that way, just doing it by yourself and just kind of eyeballing it. It kind of helped me too, though, because I had something to butt it up against. So, you want to be careful, maybe get some of the tape or use some washi tape just to keep yourself in line. But I love the way that it came out. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, first I'm going to take a Q-tip here. I just got it wet, and I'm going to go back and wipe these out. So I got one side wet and one side dry. So I'm just going to go through and wipe all of these off really quick. Entire time I had a cookie sheet sitting in the chair next to me, and every single transfer I use is in here. So I just have them face up, the sticky side up, made sure they were wet to be able to lay the next one. Let me set this back. I put any of the little stir sticks and the squeegees in there as well. I also, if you notice, I had to reuse the U 3 different times, the L twice. So when I used this, I went straight to the sink, washed it out, used the Clorox wipe, set it aside. Came back, did these, dried it, set it on my towel to dry, my fuzzing cloth. Used it again, washed it again, brought it back, same thing. And then I did the same thing with the L, so that way I could reuse them the whole time. So the only one that a little bit of the chalk pulled up was on the B here. I'm not worried about it because it just kind of gives with this whole look here. So I'm trying to decide to either leave it like this for a little bit at the shop and then come back closer to Easter, and I think that's what I'm going to do, and add the eggs just so they could kind of see it like this for a little bit because it's way too cute. So go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I'm going to take, this is not one of them, but the sheets that I have, they are full sheets like this, the backer sheets, and I'm going to put all the fonts on them. So I know they won't be in alphabetical order, but as I use them, I'll continue to put them on the sheets. It don't bother me, so whichever way they are. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.